do not qualify to adopt many dogs from shelters or from rescue organizations. It's true. I know. It's true. I'm not qualified. Oh, yes. Today on the podcast, I'm going there. Yes, it's true. I do not qualify to adopt or rescue dogs, and I'm talking about it today. Let's get into it. Ready to have a calm and peaceful life with your dog without the stress of those fear-based behaviors? Hi, I'm Tracy, and I've been there, overwhelmed by all the conflicting dog training advice and unsure of what to do next. But now I help dog lovers like you simplify your life with your dog by building confidence naturally, fostering trust, and addressing those fear-based challenges. So, if you're ready, stop chopping those chicken wieners and let's get to it. All right, it's back. That's right. It's the Calm Down Dog Boot Camp. It's happening October 7th through the 9th. And yes, you, my friend, are invited. This is a totally free 3-day virtual event where you get to hang out with me and Paisley on Zoom, and we're going to dig into the real stuff. Not just obedience, not just surface level behavior, but the deeper work that actually changes how you live with your dog. So what's involved? 3-day live session. I'm going to say an hour. Who's kidding who? You know me. It's going to go an hour and a half. Replays will be available if you can't make it live. There's a private Facebook community where you can connect, ask questions, and share your aha moments. And this time, we've added the new coffee chat coaching day on day 3. Think casual, hot seat style. You bring your questions. I bring the coaching. We make magic together. Now, listen, if you have been with me for a while, you've been listening, you've been thinking, yes, all of what Tracy says makes so much sense, but how do I actually do it? This is where we begin. We're going to talk about why you're not getting results, even if you're following all the training advice, and why how you show up matters more than the method you use, and how to move beyond obedience into true partnership with your dog. Because the truth is, you don't need more commands, my friend. You need some clarity, connection, confidence for both you and your dog. So if you're ready to stop managing your dog's behavior and actually start understanding it, I want you to go to beyondobedience.ca/bootcamp today and sign up. Remember, it's free. It's going to be fun. It's me. Come on. It's 3 days that could completely shift how you and your dog relate to one another. I'll see you there. Well, hello, my beautiful friend. It is Tracy. Welcome to Beyond Obedience, the podcast. Super duper welcome if you're brand new. If you're brand new to me, hello. Nice to meet you. Here on the Beyond Obedience podcast, we talk about all things beyond obedience. Yeah, those things. You know, in my opinion, it's the things that make obedience so much easier. We're trying something new in the podcast studio today. I don't have my camera on me. I should take a picture. If you haven't heard, if you missed the last podcast, we recently welcomed a brand new pack member to our pack. His name is Gunther, and he is probably about 11 weeks now. 11-week-old German Shepherd puppy. And I had that moment, you know, when you, I don't know if any of you are in the season of puppy right now, you'll know. If it's been a beat since you've had a puppy, let me take you back. Let me take you back, my friend, gosh, puppies are hard. Oh, you know, they're hard. So one of the first things that we are dealing with is he's got some anxiety around being in the crate. And so while I am all about crate training and I'm 100% for it, I also understand that having a puppy screaming in a crate in the background while I record a podcast probably isn't going to bode well for my credibility. You know what I'm saying? So he's down here. He's actually being brilliant. Oh, gosh, no. See, I'm looking at both of them. I brought Nike down as well because that's his bestest buddy. But now I'm looking at both of them, and they're both being adorable. And why didn't I bring a camera? Oh, it's so dumb. I would have shared this on the newsletter. Gosh, they're being cute. Anyway, I should get to it though, because as we know, same with sleeping puppies and sleeping babies, we don't want to disturb them. And as soon as you start to relax into it, they'll wake up and start terrorizing your house. That's how it goes. So if you hear noises in the background, that's what it is. So welcome, Gunther. Actually, today's story is actually about Gunther. I wanted to talk a little bit more about, I guess, really my decisions on why I got Gunther. I mentioned before, I think in my previous episode, that it shocked some people that I had opted for a German Shepherd. And for some people, maybe you're asking why I even got another dog, because I still have quite a few dogs here. Although to me, it seems like such a tiny, tiny amount. So if you're new, let me take you back a little ways. There was a point in my life when I had 19 dogs, and that seemed normal to me. Like until we moved to Nova Scotia, and then all of a sudden 19 dogs was a bit of a challenge. But we had decided long ago, and it did seem like a long time ago, that we weren't going to be adding any more pack members to our pack, that we were going to let this pack, naturally decline. Is that the nicest way to put that? I guess that's the nicest way to put that. Anyway. And that was a decision that Mark and I had made when we moved here, that we weren't keeping up. Now, if you're wondering why or how I ended up with 19 dogs, the how, really, honestly, if you don't have to be a psychiatrist to know this, but my background in veterinary technology and my history of having to euthanize dogs as a career, as a job, has left me with some issues. I'm not gonna lie. It's left me with some issues. Very hard for me to get rid of dogs. So dogs that came into my life that needed it stayed. Dogs that I raised stayed. It's a slippery slope, my friends. But the point is, we also used all of the dogs. The dogs were part of our program back in the day when we had our brick and mortar business in Ontario. The dogs were used for pack walking. They were used for rehabilitation. They were a nice balanced pack. So it was very easy for me to run a daycare of what I would call eclectic dogs. Dogs that maybe necessarily wouldn't fit in regular doggy daycares were able to enjoy daycare because we had a core balanced pack that kind of kept energy levels down and everybody had a good time. And so that's why we had so many dogs. And at the time, as I say, we were running a kennel. We had the kennel. It made sense. Then we moved, and suddenly it didn't make as much sense. I don't have the brick and mortar business anymore. I moved to an online platform, now podcasting, that kind of thing. So we had decided that we weren't going to be bringing in any more dogs. One of the harsh realities of this past couple of years for me has been the decline of my pack. And I recall my father saying that to me many years ago when he said, your dogs are all around the same age, and when they all get old, it's going to be really hard. And at the time, I was like, that's a problem for future Tracy. Well, future Tracy is now, and man, I wasn't prepared. I really wasn't prepared. It doesn't get any easier. Doesn't matter how many dogs you have. It doesn't get any easier. And some of the losses were expected or happened naturally and gracefully, and many of them were not. So, when I got down to 7 dogs, it actually hurt to say 7 dogs. When I got down to 7 dogs, it did seem... it seemed like such a tiny amount. Gosh, managing 7 dogs is like nothing. It's absolutely nothing. I should speed this up because I'm not even getting to the point. The point is that Mark and I had a big discussion about this because at the end of the day, and I was always the first person to say this, I am not the one that is training my dogs. I am not the one that trains my dogs. My pack trains my dogs. So puppies that come into my life, I would say are, heavily influenced by my pack. They are brought up by a pack of balanced dogs. And our last dog that we brought in was our Jack Russell Terrier, Nike. And she is a great little dog. She's had, a wonderful experience with this pack. This pack has been firm and fair. And as a result, she is a happy-go-lucky, spirited little Jack Russell that's living her best life. And it was sort of then that I realized that she was the youngest of my pack. And I thought, do I want a Jack Russell's energy helping me raise a new puppy, whatever puppy that is? Because I know I'm never going to just have one dog, I know I'm never going to have just one dog. And that's when it was actually 2 years ago, I made that decision. I'm like, we have to bring in another puppy and allow this pack to influence that puppy. And that's when I went on the journey of trying to figure out what kind of a dog I wanted. Obviously, the spoiler alert, I chose a German Shepherd. So we have Gunther. And already we've had him he's been home a little over a week now. And already I can tell you, I'm so grateful for this pack of dogs. They're amazing. It is a lot easier for me to train dogs. So much easier to teach a puppy to go outside and go pee when the rest of the pack runs outside and goes pee. It's so much easier to get a puppy into the rhythm of feeding rituals when there's other dogs there that are part of that ritual. It's so much easier for me to influence a dog's behavior, what I expect of them out in public when they're walking with very, very balanced dogs. So it's already been great. We've had some how interesting moments and whatnot, but as if you're following me on Facebook, you'll see the pictures tell a story that he is settling in quite nicely. And for that, it's been great. The reason why I wanted to talk about this and confessions of a dog trainer is that it might surprise some people to know that for me, because one of the other questions I got was, why didn't I rescue a dog? Why didn't I get a dog from a shelter system, from a rescue? And I even got told there's puppies in rescue and all of that stuff. And a lot of people are shocked to hear this or to learn this, but I do not qualify to adopt many dogs from shelters or from rescue organizations. It's true. I know, it's true. I'm not qualified. And the reason why I'm not qualified isn't the typical ones like you don't have a fenced-in backyard or whatever. Believe it or not, the reason why I get rejected by many rescues and shelter systems and whatnot is because I do not subscribe to the purely positive dog training. And many rescues and shelter systems now have a requirement that you will only use positive only training. And I'm honest and I say that's not actually how I work. And the reason why I have to say that is because I utilize my pack all the time to influence my puppy's behavior. And I will tell you right now, I have never once seen my dogs use treats. I've never thrown the puppy a cookie. I've never seen them praise the puppy. I've never seen them pet the puppy. In fact, I have mostly ever just seen them engage politely with the puppy or in some circumstances correct the puppy. And when they correct the puppy, they are using their teeth. They are using their body language. They're using all the stuff. Anyway, so I don't subscribe to it. I just don't. And because of that, I get rejected, and therefore not able to adopt. So there's that. I'm just going to let that sit for a second. Let that sit with you for 1 second. Because, I mean, it really did. It used to really insult me. Like, it used to really, really insult me. But now I just kind of look at it and think, this is why the world is broken. This is why the world is broken. So I wanted to kind of just, talk about that a little bit. And, this idea of why I don't subscribe to purely positive. First of all, purely positive is, in my opinion, a myth. It's not actually a thing that even exists. It's marketing, right? It's purely marketing, and it's to make you feel good and whatnot. But I believe in relationship first, and not reward first. Like, even at that level, even under the level of there's no such thing as purely positive. You put a leash on your dog, it's not, and you're saying to the dog, you can't go this way, you have to go that way. That's a negative for them, right? Anything that we do is negative for them. So, that they don't want to do. That's, in their opinion, that's negative. So there's no such thing as purely positive. But I don't even, I believe in relationship first before reward. I believe that you can be the reward in your dog's, in your relationship with your dog. And, dogs don't just learn from positive reinforcement. They learn from negative reinforcement. They learn from positive punishment. All of those are part of the quadrant. I don't really like to get into it because I feel like it muddies the water a little bit, but they learn from rhythm. They learn from boundaries. They learn from energy. They learn from timing. They learn from social feedback. And that's exactly what I've been doing just this past week. I haven't been uttering a single solitary cue to Gunther this entire week. I haven't used any obedience terms at all this week. And I know that's going to shock some people because I think everybody starts off with teaching their puppy how to sit. And guess what? Mine doesn't know how to do that. And I don't know when I'll teach that. I probably will, but I don't know when. But it's not what we're doing right now. That's not what is important right now. Right now, the very first thing that I had to teach this dog as I tore him from his family and his pack and everything that he knew to be familiar to him was to create trust. It was to build this pattern of predictability for him so that he could relax, so that he could rest, so his nervous system could calm down. Because if I don't have that, how am I supposed to do anything else? If you don't have a dog that trusts you, if you don't have a dog that has a nervous system that can regulate properly, how are they ever going to learn any of the obedience you're going to teach them? And that part too was very, very challenging for us in those first 2 days because we drove to Ontario to get him. So our first, 2 days was literally this nomadic lifestyle of living in hotels and walking in strange places. And the whole reason why I brought Nigel and Nike with us for that trip was to allow for some monkey see, monkey do, some following. I knew that it was going to be easier for him to follow a dog than it was going to be for him to follow a human. I knew that my dogs were going to be able to communicate to him far more clearly and effectively than I would. And the goal for that was to actually allow this sort of bridging effect to happen. If these dogs are following me, then you can trust me to follow. That was the whole purpose of me bringing those dogs. It wasn't, just because I like the challenge of trying to sneak 3 dogs into a hotel that has a 2-dog max policy. That might have happened. It wasn't because I like doing that. It was literally because I wanted to create a very quick mini pack. One was the dog that I thought would be fun. And I will say, she turned out to not be fun that first couple days. So lesson learned on my part. But then I also brought a dog that I knew to be calm and steady and steadfast. One that he could quickly sort of migrate with and to when he was feeling insecure. And Nigel did that, just that. And so that was, that was part of all of the things that I wanted to do. So while I don't believe in purely positive training, I do believe that I do believe that positive training is important. Okay. What is the difference? So training is, in my opinion, teaching the dog English as a second language, teaching them how to cope in Humansville. I think it's important that we have a shared language. And I believe when I'm training that language, 100%, I'm going to be using treats. 100%, I'm going to be using treats to train him. The obedience. But I am not going to be using that to build my relationship, to teach him that I am trustworthy, to influence him, to be able to know that, for him to know that I am somebody worth following. I'm not going to bribe him into a relationship with me. And so this first week of him being here has literally just been, this is our routine. This is what we do now. This is how we go for a walk. This is how we go. This is our feeding ritual. This is our greeting ritual. This is our, all of those things are now starting to become part of his life. And we're just repeating those. This is what we do when we go outside. This is what we do when we come back inside. This is what we do when we go to bed. All of these things, I'm just repeating them. I haven't uttered a single command to this dog yet. Haven't even uttered a single command. The only thing I've done is I've done happy, stupid praises when he pees outside. And it's just, yay, good dog. He doesn't know what I'm, as far as he knows, apparently, when you celebrate after you take a pee. Like, he doesn't know yet. I haven't put any cues to anything, so I haven't taught him anything. When I do, I will be positive. It'll be positive only stuff. But his life will not be governed by purely positive. And when it comes time to have to give feedback, I want him to trust me enough to know that when I say no, no means no. And that's where that's it. Okay? So, for me, pack and pack dynamics matters. I want, and we can talk more about this for those that are interested. If you're interested in sort of maybe a series on pack dynamics, I'm open to doing that on the show as well, so you can let me know. But it's important to know that when I bring in another dog, we bring in dogs on purpose and with forethought. So yes, I got a German Shepherd because I wanted to raise a German Shepherd and I wanted to go back to my roots, and I had Shepherds as puppies and all that stuff. And that's all the emotional reason to it. But I also looked within my pack and went, do I have a pack currently that can positively influence another type of dog and what breed of dog that he is? I didn't just be like, open up a book and be like, that's a cute dog, and I'm going to go get it for the sake of getting a cute dog. Believe it or not, we got Nike because we live on a farm and we have rats. Like, we didn't just pick a Jack Russell because we saw a picture of a Jack Russell and went, oh, that's cute, right? Like, she has a job and a role and a purpose. And so I intentionally look at dogs. I intentionally pick dogs based on what it is, not only that I want, what my expectations are, marrying that with the actual breed itself and asking myself some hard questions like, do I have what it takes to have that kind of a breed? I will say, a little funny side note, we had gone into one of my favorite stores around here, which is the Feeds and Needs store. And we had stopped in to pick up some stuff. And I'm standing there waiting for my shavings and my duck food. And a gentleman came up to me, he approached me, and he said, oh my goodness, is that a German Shepherd puppy? And I said, yes, it is. And he said, how old is he? And I said, he's about 10 and a half, 11 weeks old, maybe. And he said, oh my gosh, I have a 10 and a half week old German Shepherd puppy. And so my immediate thought was, maybe this is one of Gunther's siblings, because I happen to know that 2 other puppies did come to Nova Scotia. So I was like, oh, we have our conversation. Turns out it's not. It's a different breeder, different puppies. Anyway, he then proceeds to tell me and ask me how it is that I got him so calm. And I was like, well, I mean, he's still new. He's still figuring out stuff. So he's a little bit more subdued. But I kind of chose a breeder that had, really like nice, calm dogs. Like it's kind of the breeder I chose. And he then told me, well, mine's from Working Lines. And I said, oh, well, Working Line German Shepherd, that's a completely different ball game. And he said, yeah. And I said, well, are you planning on working him? And his next line to me, which I thought was funny, is he said, I've had German Shepherds my whole life. And I paused for a second because I was like, that didn't really answer my question. But I think that did answer my question, is that he wasn't planning on working him. And then he just sat there staring at my dog going, well, I just can't believe how good he is. Like, my dog would be barking and biting at the leash and pulling at the leash and doing all that. And I was like, yeah, that's a working dog. It's a different thing. Anyway, my point to all of this is that we choose our dogs. We choose not only the breed, but also, what does the breeder stand for? I love Gunther's breeder. I love everything about her. If you look at all the things she does with her dogs, and she does, besides the the show titles and whatnot, but like obedience and ratting and canine good citizen and scenting and all of these different titles for her dogs. But more importantly, her dogs were raised in her house and they were part of their family. And the pictures I saw and whatnot were just like dogs just sort of everywhere. And that's the lifestyle that I wanted for my dog, right? I don't want a working line German Shepherd. I just don't. I am not in that season of life. I have no interest in doing that kind of work. That's a lot of work. I don't want to do it. Right. So I brought Gunther home, not just to have another dog, but to help the pack raise him. I chose him at this time on purpose, and it was to create a dynamic that supported his growth and helped him be the best version of him. And my other dogs are going to help me teach him what I can't explain. And, there's a language that happens between dogs that will never fully speak. Right? Like I'm never, it's one of the things, if you're coming to the boot camp, and you're coming to the boot camp, right, friend? Like, come to the boot camp, come to the Calm Down Dog boot camp. Okay. You got to come to the boot camp, because when you come to the boot camp, I'm going to show you the incredible video. It is the reason why my whole programs are shaped is because of this video that I shot by complete accident. But if you're coming to the video, you're going to realize that, there is a language between dogs that we're never, ever going to fully speak, but we can learn from it. And in my case, I leverage it. I 100% leverage it, right? I use the influence of my pack to enable me to be like, they like me. If these dogs like me, you should like me too. I used it all the time with fearful dogs. When I was rehabilitating fearful dogs, I used it all the time to help over exuberant dogs and play groups and all of that stuff. Like I leveraged that influence, and that was sort of my main success. Now, many people will ask this. Does that mean that if I don't have a balanced pack of dogs, Tracy, does that mean no? That's not what it means. Not what it means. Because as I say, I'm learning as I go. And that's exactly what we're teaching here. It's all the stuff that I'm teaching here. And it's all the stuff you're going to learn in the boot camp as well. Okay? It's all the stuff that you're going to learn in that boot camp. But this is a whole conversation. It's not about raising and training. But we're going to be talking about all of this and more inside that Calm Down Dog Bootcamp. So I want you to make sure you're going to sign up for that. Be sure you do that. beyondobedience.ca/bootcamp. Sign up October 7th through 9th. It's an hour a day. More likely 1.5 hours. People always get mad at me because I go over and they're like, why didn't you tell me you're going to talk over? I'm going to talk over, friend. Especially on that Q&A day. I will say day 3, prepare, friend, because if you've got questions, I've got answers, and I can talk dog all day. Try to out-talk me. I dare you. You won't be able to. But if you've got questions, if you've ever thought, God, I'd love to sit down with Tracy and ask her this question about my dog, this is your opportunity. Free. Absolutely free. So you got to come to the boot camp October 7th through 9th. Go to beyondobedience.ca/bootcamp. Sign up over there. All right. So let's close this up because I think I got off track and I don't know where I am. I got a puppy. I got a puppy. And I'm raising this puppy with the influence of an incredible pack of dogs. I will say this. I used to almost disqualify myself completely from it and say, it's my dogs. It's not me. It's my dogs. I was so modest. It's my dogs. But at the end of the day, it is about me because I raised those dogs, right? So at the end of the day, it starts with one good dog. It's a slippery slope. You end up with a lot of good dogs. And while I allow my dogs to step in and help me raise this puppy, it does not exclude the fact that I raised these dogs, and it does get easier. And so if you are wondering how to make living with your dog easier, keep on listening to this podcast. Keep on listening to this podcast. You will understand after the end of that 3-day boot camp what I mean by being the reason and the reward in your dog's life. So I think that's it for today. I don't even know what the point of that was, but I just wanted to share where we're going, what we're doing, and also, of course, the incredible Calm Down Dog Boot Camp is happening again, and I want to see you there. I want to see you there. It's my one chance to get to see my audience in person because it's Zoom, so I get to see your face, and I would love to see your face in that hot seat. Day 3, asking all your questions. Make sure that you are there. All right, my friend. Thank you very much for hearing my story. And as always, get out there today, my friend, and be the person that your dog thinks you are because your dog thinks that you're amazing. And so do I. Have a fantastic day, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye for now. Oh, and one more thing. This podcast is meant for entertainment and education purposes only and is not meant to replace hands-on professional training. If you're really struggling with dangerous behavior with your dog, please reach out to a professional in your area. All right, I think that's it. Bye for now.